So what happens if you cannot make payments to a policy anymore, or if you don't want to make payments to a policy anymore? A lot of people that work with our office will often open up a policy with a lump sum of money. They say, hey, here's a big pile of money. I'm going to use this to move into a life insurance policy over the next 4 or 5 years. And after that, I'm done. They would fall in the I don't want to pay anymore. But then some, and this happens to everyone at every funding level, some people fall into a category where life happens. I had this plan to pay in X amount of dollars for the rest of my life or for the next 20 years. Something came up. Someone got sick. The real estate market crashed. Whatever it might be, I'm in a position where I cannot make payments. I can't pay anything in. So I had plans to accomplish A, but B popped up. What do I do? You ever felt like that? Well, the good news is we have several options. 2 being a premium offset or a reduced paid up option. I'm also going to briefly cover what an automatic premium loan is. As we get into this, I'll begin with a story that really prompted my research, and this is when I was early on in my career. We set a policy up, we meaning my manager at my office that I worked for at the time, a policy up for a good friend of mine. He started a little bit before he was 60 years old with a lump sum of money. He got his money into a policy. It was growing, and he gets a notice from the insurance company stating you must pay your premium or the policy may be at risk of lapse. He immediately panics. I get text messages from him. This isn't what I thought. This isn't what you guys said. You said I wouldn't have to pay anything else after I got this money in. And he's panicking where I never saw him panic before. And I'm 24 years old, something like that. I'm young at the time. So I start to panic, because I was not aware of these options, which when we presented the numbers, we included these options. We ran a premium offset, then he actually just executed recently a reduced paid up option. But that's in the illustration, and then the notice, the bill that the insurance company sends does not reflect those options. So he starts to panic, but naturally, that is natural, but there was a solution, I should say. So we're gonna go through these options, beginning with this. Premium offset, this is what he did initially because it made the most sense for him. What this means, a premium offset, is when you have a premium due, you're going to offset it with the dividends and interest being produced on the policy. So what you're doing is allowing the dividends and interest to pay the premium for you first, and then the rest is invested into cash value. There's no sudden drop in death benefit. You'll often see it drop a little bit. If you have a term rider, that might mask it, but you will not see a sudden drop in your actual life insurance death benefit with a premium offset. You'll see why I'm mentioning that in a minute. You do have the option to make payments again in the future if you choose to do so. The premium, however, I'll often refer to this as drag on the performance. For example, if I have a $10,000 base premium, and I've been paying in $100,000 per year, I can't make the payment the next year. I'm only liable to pay that $10,000 if I design it with a 1090 split, but I can't pay it. What'll happen is the dividends and interest will pay that premium for me, that 10 grand. So naturally, if I make that payment, what happens to my dividends and interest? They're reinvested into cash value. In this case, if I elect a premium offset, first, dividends and interest pay a premium. I'll refer to that as drag because it's an expense. And then the rest is invested into cash value. And what's very important to do with this, because this is a common practice that a lot of people will do when it comes time to stop making payments, or they don't want to, or they can't make payments, most agents are trained on this. This is what I was trained on first, not a reduced paid up option. And the terminology on one's insurance exam, when you actually get your life insurance license compared to what a reduced paid up actually does, it's confusing. It doesn't match up what actually happens. So most people stay away from it because it's confusing. But very, very important to review the guaranteed values with a premium offset. We're going to look at an example on this too. Reduced paid up option. What this does is cut the premium altogether. It's gone. So bullet point 2, there's no drag because the premium's non-existent. Bullet point 1, all dividends and interest are directed toward cash value. They do not need to pay a premium for you first because again, the premium is gone. If you had a policy that was called a legacy 100, a paid up at 99. What that means is premiums are due up until your age of 100 years old. Nobody usually pays it that long, but that's how long you can make payments. If you paid up until age 50 and then elected a premium offset, what that would mean is that the premium, whatever dollar figure that is, would be paid through the policy's dividends and interest up until age 100, or when you die, or if you elect a reduced paid up option. If at the same age 50, you go reduced paid up, what happens? Dividends and interest redirected toward cash value. You kill the premium, so there's no premium due anymore. It's still a legacy 100 policy, but now you cannot make payments. You cannot add anything to the policy, premium or PUA payments. That is a drawback to the reduced paid up. With the premium offset option, you've got the option to pay again in the future if you want. And I'll add, you can start with the premium offset, then after a couple of years, if you say, hey, I'm never gonna pay into it again, then you can execute a reduced paid up. So it's not as if you have to pick one or the other when you first make that choice. But with an RPU, reduced paid up, cannot add premium or PUAs. You can still borrow and repay all day long. You can take income. From an income distribution standpoint, this is an effective option. You may see a drop in death benefit. If it's early on, you will see a drop in death benefit. The earliest you can do this is year 8, similar to when we can drop a term rider. The reason why is when you kill that premium, if you had a policy that was payable up until age 100, what that means is the company is expecting premium payments up until you're 100 years old. If you stop it, how the insurance company creates a wash effect, or I shouldn't use that term, that's not that great, how the company compensates for it for themselves is you will see a death benefit reduction because you're forfeiting the right to continue to make premium payments. The death benefit drops to a figure that's really based off of your age and how much you have in cash value at the time. What you will see, however, is stronger cash value, especially when we review the guaranteed values. And this, I'm not going to spend much time on this, an automatic premium loan, what that involves is allowing your policy to pay for the base premium through a loan. So a lot of people will do that if they need more time. A lot of real estate investors, for example, they've got a bill to pay or they want to get $150,000 into the policy. They say, hey, I can't pay that right now. Let me borrow from my policy, dump $150,000 in there. I've got a $150,000 loan, but in 3 months, I know I'm going to be able to pay that. So it's a good option. It's got some other advantages too, but that's a good topic for another video. So let's look at these 2 examples because a lot of people ask about it when we look at lump sum funding scenarios. What's the best option? So we're going to put them side by side and have some fun. Here we've got an example. First, we'll look at the dividend values. Same policy, 7 pay. So we're going to fund for 7 years right up to the MEC limit. This is a policy that is payable almost till age 100 for a long time. $10,000 base premium. $100,000 total payment. First year cash value, about 83%, which is about as rich as we can get it with this company and product based on the new 7702 change. Break even year 5. What do we see here? Reduced paid up on the left. I should put that in blue to be consistent with the colors we were using before. Breaking even year 5, reduced paid up. When we go reduced paid up, what did I mention about the death benefit? We could see a drop, a sudden drop. There we go. What we did here is eliminate that premium altogether, so it's gone. I did not include the dividend column here, but all dividends and interest are now kicked back into cash value. They do not need to pay a premium first. So our out-of-pocket is 0, no premium due forever. There's your cash value growth over time. Death benefit will recover with the cash value growth. Premium offset. In this example, first 7 years, these 2 are identical, by the way, because it's the same policy. This is an after-the-fact change. We do not make this change when we first start a policy, or we don't set this, we don't put it in stone. It's an after-the-fact adjustment. After 7 years, What do you notice here? Base premium is still due. You are not paying it. Your out of pocket is zero. What do you notice about the cash value here? They're close. Reduced paid up, $775. Premium offset, $772. Cash value difference on the far right, about $2,200. Now each year, we notice what? The reduced paid up option, same dividend scale, all that good stuff, the reduced paid up option pulls further and further ahead. If we want to go down to, how far we want to go? I don't want to go too far. Let's look at age 80. That's pretty far, but that's okay. Age 80, 3.4 million, reduced paid up. Premium offset, 3.3 million. $127,000 difference in favor of the RPU. Now, if there is any chance that you still wanted to make payments to the policy, maybe you stop after 7 years, but you say, hey, I might want to keep adding to this. Maybe it's not 100 grand, but I might want to continue to pay the base premium, then we would not want to elect a reduced paid up. What I'll often let people know is that's something we want to hit the kill switch on when you have full certainty that you do not want to make any more payments to a policy. If you want to continue, you say, hey, I want to keep paying, well then you can. Same policy here. Now we just keep on making the $10,000 premium payment, and it looks good. But back to the comparison. So this was the dividend values. What I want to look at though is what was the thing we had on the bottom of the whiteboard? Review the guaranteed values, the stuff that no one looks at, so important. Especially with the new 7702 update and lower guarantees and more dependence on dividends to drive cash value performance, I really want to look at this now. So what do we notice here based on the guarantees? We've got the worst case scenario from start to finish. So it will do better than this, but still, let's take a look. Reduced paid up, guarantees, breaking even between 8 and 9. With the reduced paid up, how about the premium offset? Look at that. Just about year 9, it's year 10 that you're positive. The policy design's the same. You've got a 1090 split, minimum premium, 10%, 10,000, rest in the PUAs, one of the major mutual companies, all that good stuff. But look at this. Why is that delayed 1 year? The reason why, year 8, $10,000 base premium, nothing out of pocket, only looking at the guarantees. So now the guaranteed cash value interest rate must pay that premium. The rest kicked back into cash value. You see about $14,000 in growth that year. Same thing next year. As time passes, here's what I want to touch on first actually. Death benefit, we did cut the term rider, so you see a slight drop, but over here, drops to 1.778 and it stays at 1.778. You will not see the death benefit increase in a guaranteed cash value interest rate environment. So if we look at just the guarantees, and I'm not adding anything into PUAs, the death benefit will not increase. With the premium offset, based on the guarantees, the death benefit will decrease over time. So look at your CV difference, not $2,200, now it's about $3,300. We went down to age 80 in the last example with the dividends, and what was the difference there? About $127,000. We're not at 80 yet, and look at that cash value difference column. Now we could go reduced paid up at any point in time, but where people usually run into issues, and this doesn't really happen with whole life, but where they run into issues is when something had been occurring for a long period of time and they find out about it when it's too late. And that's not just with life insurance, that's with life. Look at the difference. Now it's almost $240,000. Same company, design, product, everything. Just a reduced paid up option compared to a premium offset. But again, if you wanted to keep paying, here we go, you can. And one thing, just for an interesting note, I guess I could say, cut the term rider after year 7. There's your death benefit. We're only paying the base premium here. We're not adding anything into PUAs, and it's based on the guarantees only. That's why that death benefit's not appreciating. To see that death benefit increase, you need to have dividends being paid, or you need to be adding PUAs. That's what's going to increase it year over year. The first 7 years, if you've got a 1-year term rider that keeps it level, it's going up. The term rider is coming down at the same time, but it kind of masks it in that respect. So I hope you enjoyed this one. I like the technical ones that provide information and options that we have with policies. If you did enjoy, please hit the like button, subscribe for more, and I hope this helps. We'll talk to you soon. Hey guys, Steve Parisi here. If you enjoyed the content you just saw, please subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell for future videos. If you'd like more information or to see some custom policies for yourself, feel free to call or email our offices at the contact information below.